There is a place on Earth where the map is drawn in blood, bone, and sun-scorched sand. Spanning over 100,000 square miles across the southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico, the Sonora Desert is not just a geographical location. It is a biological battlefield. To the naked eye, it looks like a vast, beautiful wasteland of ancient saguaro cacti and golden dunes. But beneath this postcard-perfect surface lies a hellish reality. This is the most biologically diverse desert on the planet, and every single living thing here has evolved one specific, brutal skill: the ability to kill or the instinct to survive a killer. In the Sonora, the sun is not a source of life. It is a relentless executioner. During the peak of summer, ground temperatures can soar to a staggering 180 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme heat creates a thermal barrier that dictates the laws of the land. Most predators here are forced into a lifestyle of crepuscular warfare, hunting only in the dim, ghostly light of dawn and dusk. But even in the silence of the midday heat, death is never far away. It is merely hiding, waiting for a single heartbeat of weakness. When we speak of the deadliest residents of this hell on the border, we must begin with the masters of the low profile, the western diamondback rattlesnake. This is not just a snake. It is a precision-engineered pressure cooker of venom and patience. The diamondback is the undisputed king of the sit-and-wait strategy. It can remain perfectly still for days, blended into the dappled shadows of a creosote bush, its body coiled like a heavy-duty spring. But its real power lies in its thermal vision. The diamondback possesses heat-sensing pits located between its nostrils and eyes. These pits are so sensitive they can detect a temperature change of less than 0.003 degrees Celsius. To the rattlesnake, a mouse or a bird isn't a shape. It's a glowing infrared target in a dark world. What makes the diamondback a nightmare is its strike geometry. In less than a tenth of a second, faster than a human can blink, the snake uncoils, lunges, and delivers a massive dose of hemotoxic venom. This venom is a biological acid. It doesn't just kill. It begins to digest the prey from the inside out before the snake even swallows it. It melts the blood vessels and collapses the internal organs. But the diamondback is just one soldier in a scaly army. The Sonora is also home to the Mojave Green, a serpent whose venom is a terrifying neurohemo cocktail. It doesn't just rot the flesh. It shuts down the nervous system, paralyzing the lungs and heart within minutes. In the Sonora, one wrong step isn't just a mistake. It's a death sentence signed in scales. Deep within the rocky outcrops near the Arizona-Mexico border resides a creature of myth, the Gila monster. Unlike the fast-striking rattlesnake, the Gila is a slow, methodical tank. It is one of the only venomous lizards in the world, and its method of execution is purely brutal. It doesn't strike and let go. It bites and holds on with the grip of a vice, chewing the venom into the wound through grooved teeth. It is a slow, agonizing process. Once those jaws lock, there is no escape. But the desert floor is only the first level of this inferno. As the sun dips below the jagged horizon, the laws of the desert shift. The cold-blooded killers retreat to their burrows, making way for the warm-blooded titans of the wilderness, predators with the speed to chase, the power to crush, and the intelligence to track a scent for miles across the border. The real ghosts of the Sonora are about to wake up. The Sonora Desert at night is a different dimension. As the cold-blooded serpents retreat into the thermal safety of their burrows, the kingdom of scales is replaced by the kingdom of fur, bone, and muscle. The silence of the sand is broken not by a rattle, but by the weight of a shadow. These are the warm-blooded titans, predators that don't wait for their prey to come to them. They track, they chase, and they execute with a mechanical precision that has been perfected over millions of years of evolutionary warfare. In this hell on the border, the transition from prey to predator happens in a heartbeat. But there is one shadow in particular that every living creature here fears more than the sun itself. A ghost that lives in the vertical world of the canyons. Meet the mountain lion, also known as the cougar or puma. In the Sonora, he is a vertical sniper. A large male can weigh up to 200 pounds of pure, explosive fiber. Unlike the lion of the African savanna, the Sonora cougar is a solitary assassin. He doesn't hunt in a pride. He carries the entire burden of the kill on his own shoulders. What makes the mountain lion the ultimate nightmare is his aerial advantage. These cats are the greatest athletes of the desert. They can leap 18 feet vertically onto a canyon ledge and 40 feet horizontally in a single bound. In the rugged terrain of the U.S.-Mexico border, the cougar uses the elevation as his primary weapon. He doesn't stalk from behind. He stalks from above. He sits on the jagged rim of a canyon, his golden eyes calibrated to see in light levels 6 times lower than what a human requires. He watches the movement of the desert floor, calculating the wind, the distance, and the exact trajectory of his descent. When the mountain lion strikes, it isn't a fight, it's a physics equation. The force of a 200-pound predator falling from 15 feet creates an impact velocity that can shatter the spine of a deer instantly. But the cougar doesn't leave it to chance. Its paws are equipped with massive impact pads that muffle the sound of its landing, and its dewclaws act as meat hooks to lock the prey in place. The killing bite is a clinical masterpiece. The cougar aims for the nape of the neck, driving its powerful canines between the vertebrae to sever the spinal cord. It is a zero-noise kill. Within seconds, the struggle is over, and the cougar begins a grueling task of dragging a carcass twice its own weight into the safety of a cave. In the Sonora, if you see a mountain lion, it's because he wanted you to see him. If he's hunting you, you'll never see anything at all. But not every titan in the Sonora is a cat. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing in the brush is what you might mistake for a common pig. These are the collared peccaries, or javelinas. In the wilderness, their small stature is a lethal deception. Javelinas are the infantry of the desert. They travel in tight-knit social groups, or squadrons, and they possess a territorial aggression that even the mountain lion respects. Their primary weapons are their self-sharpening tusks. Every time a javelina opens and closes its mouth, its upper and lower tusks rub against each other, honing the edges to a razor-sharp finish. When a pack feels threatened, they don't scatter. They form a defensive circle. They use a mob strategy, charging simultaneously from different angles. A single javelina bite can rip through muscle and bone, and a dozen of them attacking at once is enough to drive a cougar off its kill. They are the gritty survivors of the borderlands, proving that in the Sonora, even the prey has a bite that can end a life. Javelinas rely on their sense of smell to navigate the hell on the border. They have a scent gland on their backs that produces a pungent, musky odor so strong it can be detected by a human from 30 feet away. It is the smell of the wild, the smell of a desert that refuses to be tamed. But as the night grows deeper and the wind howls through the cacti, a new scent begins to drift across the border from the south. A scent that hasn't been felt in these lands for a long, long time. It is a smell of ancient rainforests and forgotten gods. The Titans of the North are about to meet the legend of the South. For over 50 years, the United States thought it had lost one of its most legendary residents. The history book said the Jaguar, the largest cat in the Americas, had been pushed south, deep into the tropical jungles of Mexico and Central America. The dry, brutal heat of the Sonora Desert was thought to be too harsh for a predator designed for the rainforest. But the desert has a way of hiding the truth. In the last decade, a silent resurrection has been taking place. In the rugged mountains of southern Arizona and the scrublands of Sonora, Mexico, a ghost has returned. This is the North American jaguar, a predator that doesn't just survive in the desert, it dominates it. To see a jaguar in the Sonora is like seeing a dinosaur walk through a modern city. It is a creature out of time, a living relic of the ancient Aztec world reclaiming its stolen throne. To understand a jaguar is to understand the absolute peak of feline evolution. While the mountain lion is built for the leap, the jaguar is built for the crush. Weighing up to 250 pounds, this cat is a powerhouse of pure, dense muscle. But its most terrifying weapon is its jaw. The jaguar possesses the strongest bite force of any cat in the world, pound for pound, even stronger than a lion or a tiger. While other big cats kill by suffocating their prey with a throat bite, the jaguar has a much more brutal signature. It uses its massive canines to pierce the skull of its prey, or the thick, armored shell of a desert tortoise. It is the only cat that regularly kills by crushing the brain. In the ancient Aztec and Mayan cultures, the jaguar was worshipped as a lord of the underworld because of this terrifying efficiency. In the Sonora, that ancient power is back on the prowl. How does a rainforest predator thrive in a land of cacti and dust? The answer lies in the arroyos, the dry riverbeds that act as a jaguar's secret highways. The Sonora jaguar is a master of tactical movement. It uses the rugged terrain of the Sierra Madre Mountains to cross the U.S.-Mexico border undetected. It ignores the walls, the sensors, and the patrols. For the jaguar, the border is an invisible line that cannot stop the call of its ancestral hunting grounds. These cats have been known to travel hundreds of miles in search of territory. They follow the water sources, moving from one hidden tanaja, rock pool, to the next, surviving on a diet that ranges from deer and javelinas to cattle and even large snakes. The jaguar is a generalist assassin. It adapts its strategy to whatever the desert throws at it. There is a specific kind of fear that comes with a jaguar's presence. Unlike the mountain lion, which might flee if spotted, the jaguar is known for its apex confidence. It does not hide because it is afraid. It hides because it is hunting. Its rosettes, the unique spot patterns on its fur, provide the perfect camouflage in the speckled shadows of the mesquite trees and desert scrub. In the silence of a Sonora night, the jaguar is a psychological force. It moves with a heavy, deliberate grace. When it decides to strike, it is a sudden explosion of power that leaves no room for struggle. It is a predator that has mastered the art of the ghost walk, being everywhere and nowhere at the same time. The return of the jaguar marks the return of a true king. But every king has a shadow. While the jaguar and the mountain lion rule the deep, untouched wilderness of the borderlands, there is another predator that has learned to thrive in the gray zone, the area where the wild meets the world of man. As we leave the legends of the Aztec ghost behind, we must face the most successful, cunning, and resilient survivor of the Sonora, a predator that doesn't need the deep forest or the high canyons, a trickster that has seen the rise and fall of empires and decided to stay. The shadows of the border are about to get much more complicated. In the hierarchy of the Sonora, we have seen the kings and the ghosts. We have seen the raw power of the jaguar and the silent strike of the rattlesnake. But there is one predator that doesn't care about titles. It doesn't care about the old ways of the wilderness. This is a coyote, the most successful, adaptable, and resilient predator in North America. While the jaguar and the mountain lion are being pushed back by human expansion, the coyote is doing something impossible. It is moving closer. It is the only predator in the hell on the border that has looked at a concrete wall, a highway, and a suburban backyard and said, "This is my new hunting ground." The coyote is a master of the gray zone, that thin, dangerous line where the wild meets the world of man. To call the coyote a scavenger is a lethal insult to its intelligence. These are cognitive killers. A coyote's brain is wired for problem-solving. In the Sonora, they have been observed using decoy tactics that seem almost human. One coyote will play the role of the distraction, acting injured or playful to lure a larger prey animal or protective farm dog away from the safety of its pack. Once the target is isolated, the rest of the pack, hidden in the shadows, closes a trap. Their vocalizations are equally complex. The haunting howls you hear at night are not just random noise. It is a sophisticated long-distance communication network. They can tell each other exactly how many individuals are in a pack, where the food is, and where the danger lies. In the hell on the border, the coyote is the only animal that uses information as a weapon. While a mountain lion relies on a single explosive leap, the coyote relies on endurance hunting. They are the marathon runners of the desert. A coyote can maintain a steady gallop for miles, slowly wearing down its prey until it collapses from heat exhaustion. Their diet is a masterpiece of opportunism. They will eat anything from the fruit of a saguaro cactus to a fallen deer, from a nest of bird eggs to the discarded trash of a border crossing. But their most fascinating alliance is with the American badger. In a rare display of interspecific cooperation, coyotes and badgers have been seen hunting together. The badger digs into the burrows of ground squirrels, and the coyote waits at the exit to catch anything that tries to escape. It is a partnership built on cold, hard efficiency. In the Sonora, survival doesn't have a moral code. It only has a success rate. But who rules the desert when the kill is over? Who takes the remains of the jaguar's feast or the coyote's scrap? Enter the turkey vulture, the grim reaper of the borderlands. With a 6-foot wingspan and a sense of smell so powerful it can detect the gases of decay from miles away, the vulture is the final stage of the Sonora's cycle of death. These birds are biological marvels. Their stomach acid is 10 times stronger than a human's, strong enough to dissolve anthrax, botulism, and even cholera. They are the sanitizers of the desert. Without them, the hell on the border would be a breeding ground for plague. They don't kill, but they wait with a patience that is more terrifying than any strike. They watch the struggle from the thermals, knowing that eventually the desert always wins. Below the talons of the vulture lies the final level of the hierarchy, the insects. the domestic beetles and the desert harvester ants. In the Sonora, nothing is wasted. Within 48 hours of a kill, these tiny scavengers can strip a carcass to white bone. They are the micro-predators that turn death back into dust, recycling the nutrients into the parched soil so the next generation of cacti can grow. We have seen the kings, the ghosts, and the tricksters. We have seen how life adapts to the most brutal conditions on the planet. But as the coyote watches the lights of man flicker in the distance, a new shadow is falling over the Sonora, a shadow that doesn't follow the laws of evolution. The most dangerous element in this desert is no longer a claw, a fang, or a drop of venom. It is the arrival of a predator that the animals cannot outrun and cannot outsmart. The hell on the border is about to face its final test. As we move into the final chapter of our journey, we must ask, in a land built for killers, who survived when the rules of the game are changed forever? We have journeyed through the fire of the midday sun and the ice of the desert night. We have tracked the cold-blooded geometry of the rattlesnake, felt the vertical strike of the mountain lion, witnessed the Aztec resurrection of the jaguar, and admired the cunning intellect of the coyote. But as we reach the final horizon of the Sonora, we must face the most complex predator of all, the one that doesn't hunt with claws or fangs, but with boundaries, technology, and an insatiable hunger for control. The Sonora Desert is more than just a habitat. It is an ancient crossroads of civilizations. For over 10,000 years, humans have tried to carve a life out of this hell on the border. From the Hohokam and Udum tribes who worship the desert spirits, to the modern-day patrols and travelers who fear its silence. But the desert has a long memory. It has seen empires rise and fall into the dust, and through it all, the wilderness has remained the ultimate judge. In the modern era, a new predator has reshaped the Sonora, the wall. To us, it is a political statement. To the wildlife of the Sonora, it is a biological fracture. Imagine being a jaguar, following a scent trail that has existed for 5,000 years, only to be met by 30 feet of cold steel. This artificial apex has changed the rules of the game. It forces predators into smaller territories, leading to genetic bottlenecks and desperate territorial wars. But even here, nature finds a way. We see mountain lions finding gaps in the jagged canyons where no wall can stand. We see coyotes digging tunnels that mock human engineering. The Sonora is teaching us a brutal lesson. You can draw a line in the sand, but you cannot cage the spirit of the wilderness. What does it take to survive in hell on the border? For the animals, it is evolution. For humans, it is humility. The Sonora does not forgive mistakes. If you enter this land without respect, the heat will claim your mind before the predators claim your body. There is a psychological phenomenon known as the desert silence, a point where the vastness of the Sonora begins to weigh on the human spirit. In this silence, the lines between man and beast begin to blur. You realize that you are no longer the top of the food chain. You are just another organism trying to find shade, trying to find water, and trying to avoid the shadows. In the Sonora, the predator-prey dynamic is stripped down to its most honest form. It is the ultimate reality check. Despite its reputation as a land of death, the Sonora is a masterpiece of life. It is a fragile legacy that hangs in the balance. Climate change is pushing the thermal limits of even the most resilient creatures. The God rays of the sun are becoming more lethal every year. If the jaguar cannot cross the line, if the rattlesnake loses its shade, the hell on the border will lose its soul. We have a responsibility to be the guardians of the corridor, to ensure that the ancient highways of the jaguar remain open and that the howl of the coyote continues to echo through the canyons. Because a world without these predators is a world that has lost its edge. It is a world that has forgotten what it means to be truly wild. You have walked the path of the wilderness predators. You have seen the beauty and the brutality and the intelligence and the instinct. The Sonora Desert is not a place to be conquered. It is a place to be experienced. It is a reminder that somewhere on this planet, nature still reigns supreme. The hell on the border is not a nightmare. It is a living, breathing testament to the power of life against all odds. The dust may settle, and the tracks may be blown away by the wind, but the legacy of the Sonora is eternal. The ghosts are still out there. The kings are still on their thrones, and the desert is still waiting. This journey through the deadliest frontier on Earth has come to an end, but the story of the wild never truly stops. If you felt the heat of the Sonora and the power of its predators, then you are now part of this legacy. Don't let the trail go cold. If you want to see more deep dive documentaries into the world's most dangerous territories, hit that follow button right now. Join our community of explorers in the comments. Tell us, which of these predators would you least like to meet in the middle of a dark desert night? Your engagement keeps these stories alive. This is Wild Legacy. Stay wild, stay curious, and we will see you in the next wilderness.